Not working.
You are live. That's what it says on the screen. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Create Your Future Self live at 6:08 Central Standard Time. We coming to you live for show. I am Victor Vanico Johnson. Couple different businesses, Nico Don Projects, and of course 555 Equity LLC, real estate investing. And of course, I have my co-hostess over here to the side, Laquita Monley. How you doing today?
You know what, Vic? I'm doing good. Had a few little snafus today. Oh my goodness. I didn't think I was going to get it together, but you know what? All is good. All is good. I'm doing well. And like you said, I am Laquita Monley. I am the military spouse that provides work from home opportunities for other military spouses as well as civilians. And it is a super, super, super awesome blessing to be here tonight because we have a wonderful guest, Miss Taiisha Bradley, and she's going to be dropping some amazing gems for us today. So people, please get out your notebooks, get out your paper, your pen, because it does not forget. I know, Miss Taiisha is an amazing woman. Her list of accomplishments can go on and on and on. But everybody, just so you can know a little bit about who she is and what she does, she is a publicist. She is the go-to person. Every business owner that comes on this platform always wants to know, how can I broaden my reach? Well, you have a treat today, ladies and gentlemen. She is going to tell you how you can broaden your reach and many other things as well. But just to name off just a few of her accomplishments and some of the places where she can be seen, Miss Bradley is a publicist and creative strategist, and my tongue is tied today.
Okay, we're gonna get on through it.
Come on, I don't even know what's going on. It's if I don't like to talk to something. Taiisha is born to make headlines. Taiisha Bradley is the publicist and creative strategist you find when your business or brand needs a catalytic boost to make it to the next level. Building an opportunity to keep your brand front of mind with current and prospective clients, Taiisha will work with you to earn premium media coverage and thought leadership around your areas of expertise and service offerings in a variety of content formats. A sponge for information since childhood, her curiosity about the Black wealth gap sparked an entrepreneurial bug. From selling finger-painted art from her grandmother's front porch to fast-paced career in corporate and nonprofit communities to full-time entrepreneurship, each endeavor led Taiisha closer to the one piece of her career journey that she was missing, which is teaching. Once she figured out how to share her gifts with the masses, the media world was never the same. While true earned media is never guaranteed, Taiisha guarantees more eyes and ears will be on your business. Since 2002, Taiisha has used a proven methodology to secure hundreds of millions of dollars in free publicity for corporations, nonprofits, small businesses, and public figures. Building an opportunity to keep your brand front of mind with current and prospective clients will work with you to create premium placement and thought leadership around your areas of expertise and service offerings in a variety of content. Through her experiential events, first of its kind publicist share program, and high expectations of business excellence, Taiisha has helped hundreds of businesses and brands to claim their fame in the media market. She aims to be one of the most watched publicists on YouTube, now launching her proven formula online in response to increased demand by entrepreneurs all over the world. She is resilient. She is innovative. She is your publicist, Ms. Taiisha Bradley.
Nice. Thank you. You read the long bio. Okay.
Nice.
Thank you.
I mean, you when I was looking at your bio and looking over your website, and I have been stalking your YouTube page, by the way. Great content. Great content.
Thank you.
It's like, wow, a short bio won't do because often that's the question that most entrepreneurs have. Like, how can I broaden my reach? Whether it be with SEO management or creating my website, how do I do that? What do I do with my social media? How do I get in magazines. It's like you have the answer for all of those questions, and an answer where no matter what level you're at in your entrepreneurial journey, you have an answer to help somebody get there.
Exactly. Publicity is as at reach for everyone. You can be a startup and benefit from publicity. You could be a multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar business and benefit from publicity. Whether it's time for you to hire a publicist to handle your publicity, that's another question. But there's certainly things that the everyday entrepreneur can be doing to become A-list entrepreneurs by getting that visibility. So basically, it's real cut and dry. If you're not visible, you're invisible. That's it. If we don't see you, you don't exist. And you can have the best business, you can have the best product, service, story, mission, you can have the best heart. But if people don't know about you, then they can't patronize your business. They can't receive that message, and you are not doing what you're fully put here to do. You're kind of going only halfway. You're kind of doing the work and hoping the people come to you. But oftentimes we have to go to the people and say, hey, listen, I need you to see this. You need to see this. And so many people have a hard time, being in front of their brand and, kind of showing their face. But like the days of that is over. Technology is everything. There's someone else, somewhere else doing what you do, but they are not you, and only you are you. And the best way to show people who you are is actually video, where people can see you, talk to you, they can catch your vibe, that's how people really, really get to know you. But just being in front of people consistently, over and over again with your message, and they start to get a familiarity with you. And when people start to feel like they know you, they start to have that relationship and they trust you. And then you move into a place of thought leadership because people are looking to you as the expert in that go-to area. And it can be in business. It can be just as an everyday mom. There's always people who need help with parenting. You may be an everyday mom, stay-at-home mom, and think that you don't have something to share with the media or with the masses of the people. But I have a 4-year-old, and there's just, certain milestones that they're trying to hit. And there's some parents that are just like built for that, and they know how to do certain things. And they could be teaching that. They could be sharing that. And media are always looking for people for stories to pitch in on quotes. And it could be anyone, whether you're in business or not. If you know more than someone else, you can be a source for the media and bring some visibility and opportunities your way.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
awesome. Yeah. Go ahead, Laquita. Yeah.
No, I was looking at one of your videos today, and in the video you were saying that Hero was one of your favorite things. And
oh yes.
Talk to us about that, and how can the startup entrepreneur, as well as someone who's trying to build themselves to the place where they say, okay, now I need a publicist. How can that be a tool?
Yes. So I tell people to start small. And so typically starting small, in former days, I've been doing this for a super duper long time. So in former days, starting small was starting local. And I do highly recommend starting local, which means going to your local, reaching out to your local news channels, your local newspapers, the local magazines in your town, because everybody loves a hometown hero. Everybody loves a hometown hero story. It's really easy to kind of pitch your local media, become the it person, the go-to person in your neighborhood and your community first. And so that's where we told people to start with the local newspapers and all that. But now with, technology and things like HARO, which is an acronym for Help a Reporter Out. The website is helpareporter.com. It is like the Craigslist for journalists and reporters. It's where they go when they are on deadline and they're working on stories and they need someone to quote something, or they're making a list, and they need like 50 people to chime in about something, or to list their favorite books. Anything you can imagine, from blogs to network talk shows to national talk shows, you can find on HARO. And the great thing is that HARO is free to sign up. The free account has just about all the features of the paid account. So it's super accessible. You only need the free account to win. So you can get a free account, sign up as a source. And a source is a person who is on the site to respond to journalists. Okay, so then the other people who sign up are the journalists. And what happens is you sign up for certain areas that you are interested in receiving media opportunities from. And then 3 times per day, you'll start to receive emails to your inbox with queries, which are the postings from the journals looking for experts to chime in on their stories. And some days it could be hundreds of queries. So you scroll through the queries, you kind of look at the titles, see if it's something that is in your industry or your area or your expertise that you can confidently speak about. So not research and throw something together and send, because they know that game and that'll get you blocked. Okay. But you have to be like, oh, kaboom, that's my jam right there. This is perfect for me. When you come across something like that, you click on it, open it up, read the full instructions, and you're going to respond to that journalist. There'll be like a mass email. So you don't usually have the journalist's real email address. So there'll be a mass email, and they'll say, hey, I'm writing a story about, I got some Reese's cups here, about entrepreneur favorite snacks. If you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, what snacks do you eat while you're working? And I can say, hey, my name is Taiisha Bradley. I'm super excited to respond about my favorite snacks. I've been an entrepreneur for 20 years. I'm a publicist. I have my own business. When I'm working late at night, I like to eat Reese's Buttercups. Thanks so much. Send. And next thing you know, you're in, Entrepreneur Magazine, in a list of roundups of entrepreneur favorite snacks. Taiisha Bradley, celebrity publicist from the Nashville area, says that she likes Reese's Cups. Guess what? I don't care about they say no, I like Reese's Cup. Guess who's going to be nosy and Google me? Everybody. And then I'm starting to get all these leads to my websites from all other places. And nosiness is curiosity. And, if I can get that conversion, then I have a new customer, or a new client, or a new follower. I have someone there. So Hero gives you opportunities like that. So while I may not have been responding to something, directly in my expertise of publicity, I got my name and, myself out there. And then what I can do is I can take that article, put it on my website, link to the original website from the magazine, and that creates a backlink. That's the website's talk. So this website is saying, hey, Taiisha Bradley's website is legit. We're connected. And that kind of naturally runs me up into the Google. So when someone searches publicist on Google, I rank closer to the top because I'm affiliated with Forbes magazine, with Good Housekeeping, etc. Because that's all the algorithm knows. They don't know that I'm Taiisha Bradley sitting at my dining room table thugging it out.
Not thugging.
All they know is that Forbes said it. I'm good. So they're going to send people my way. So that's how Hero. Yeah. And so sometimes you can find opportunities, specifically in your genre, but sometimes you can just shoot your shot if you're qualified. No matter what, it gets your name out there, gets your brand out there, and it gets you those good backlinks that are going to bring people to your website regardless.
Whew, that was value add right there. So, okay, what is the site? Is it Help a Reporter Out, or is it Hero? What is the site?
Exactly. So it's called Help a Reporter Out, Hero, but the website is helpareporter.com.
Okay.
Yes.
I dropped that website in the comments, those of you that
awesome.
So whether you're on YouTube, Periscope, Facebook, wherever you're viewing us from, first of all, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the love and support of our audience. Continue to join us every Monday at 6 p.m. Look in that comment section. It's www.helpareporter.com.
That is so valuable right there, Taiisha.
Yeah,
thank you for sharing that.
My jam.
Oof, that is.
If you just really want to dive in, into getting media and publicity for yourself, it's a great place to dive in. You can kind of look around, see if you get comfortable. and then just kind of go in, and you'll get feel more comfortable interacting with journalists. A lot of people are afraid, like they're afraid that they're just going to get, ripped apart. But like these are people, who have jobs and families and houses and cars and put on shoes and socks, just like us. Like it's a person on the other side. You just have to get comfortable with communicating with those people. But you can get some quick and dirty wins on Hero, and it'll really boost your confidence. And media begets media. I'm telling you, if you get like one hit, something else will start to come through. They just kind of stack. It's just the law of publicity. It attracts other media. So once you get rolling with Hero, you can really start to rock and roll with that. And I also, I created an online course to help people with Hero because people ask me about it so much. And so, when the pandemic hit last year, I was doing a lot of events. But because, I was suddenly not doing events, I was really able to kind of immerse myself in some projects that I had been wanting to do. And so created an online course called How to Hero was one thing that I did during the pandemic, which teaches people like all the ins and outs and the secrets and tips and tricks of Hero that I've learned over, man. I think it started in 2008 when it was like a Facebook group and I was in it.
Nice. So I just want to tell anybody who's going back and listening to this broadcast, between 611 and 621, value add, gold nugget media jewel. Then come back into the feed and go to TaiishaBradley.com so you can get her to coach you on how to hero like a pro, like a real hero, she-ro. You know what I'm saying? She'll teach you how to do that. So that is super awesome. So I have a quick question. So not everybody's familiar with the term publicist. Obviously, you've mentioned that a publicist can help you get media attention and attract, people to your brand. Who needs a publicist? If you like, who are the top 5 people maybe that you've worked with as far as types of industry? Are these publishers? Are these actors? Like, who needs a publicist in your opinion?
Okay. So first, you're right about the distinction about what a publicist is and what a publicist does. Oftentimes people think that publicists are like the same as marketers and marketing, but it's a little same, a lot different. And so also we get confused with like kind of party promoters. We get confused with like personal assistants, to like celebrities when you get into that realm. But most often we get confused with publishers. Like we don't do the books.
Right.
People are like, "Oh, you're a publicist, fantastic." So listen, I have this book. I'm like, listen, this is not like I could help you, but you did not with what you're thinking. Right. So basically, what a publicist does. So there's public relations and a lot of different things under public relations. But the part as a publicist, we focus mainly on helping people get in front of the media, whether that be on like TV, blogs, talk shows, as like a guest expert, anywhere that they can share their message or share their knowledge as an expert, for the millions, for the masses. And so what we do is we help match our clients with opportunities in the media. And so we basically kind of pitch them to the media to either fulfill a need or either say, hey, I have a story idea about this client or this client's business. Would you be interested in covering it? It's a lot of no's, but when the yes comes through, it's usually great. So a lot of it is numbers games. Unlike advertising, you're not paying for these opportunities. When you're paying for these kinds of opportunities, it's called advertising, not public relations. It's okay if you want to pay to be, interviewed, but know that it's advertising and not PR, and that the benefits of it, when it comes to things like SEO, backlinks, and et cetera, and a level of exposure are not the same.
Okay.
What was the second part?
Well, the second part is I would say, so there's obviously, we here at Create Your Future Self Live, we have a huge audience of entrepreneurs, and they can span from a painter all the way up to whatever, right? Again, authors of books and things like that, yes. And plenty of coaches and definitely real estate investors. So when you think about that wide range of entrepreneurs, like, I guess who would be some of your favorite types of entrepreneurs to work with, where you feel like you've been able to get great results for them?
I feel like so all entrepreneurs would be good candidates, for publicity if you want your brand to be, bigger and better. But typically, the people who I could help the most are established in business already. They've been in business for a couple years, at least 2 years, but on the 5 and up year. You have to be stable in your business and you have to be profitable in your business, because what a publicist cannot do is help you get enough visibility fast enough to get you some dollars to save your business. Okay. So, and that's a lot of pressure for us too. That's a lot of pressure. So your business cannot be dependent on us, because actually having a publicist is a luxury kind of thing. It's a luxury, like having a virtual assistant, like very super luxury. And you need it, but you have to be able to afford it and be able to manage, all those kinds of things. So you want to be in a place where you're stable, in your business, and you got it, and you're really good at what you do, and you're serving the brakes off the people kind of in your circle, and people love you and they know you, and you kind of moving around, but you really want to get out of that circle. You know what I mean? You're like a hood star. Everybody in the hood loves you and they know you, but like, how can I be big outside of this small circle? And so it's people who are there who are either trying to figure out how to get out of that circle and be bigger and more well known for the great things that they're already doing. And then there's people who are this close, but they just can't quite ever make it, out of the circle. That is a good person to work with, a publicist, because you have some success. You have kind of like your established brand. You are already like fantastic at what you're doing. Now you need someone who is fantastic at what they do, which is helping people, kind of break through that barrier of, not going flying right under the radar, and the way that you do that is with media. And there are lots of things that people can do for themselves in their business as far as publicity. So people are like, why should I pay a publicist? Because listen, I've been doing this for over 20 something years. And when you have to sit up all night and write your pitch and pray over it and sweat and delete it and do it again, I could send a text and get it done. Hey girl, it's me. I have this person,
Relationships matter.
It's about the relationships. The relationships matter. So you can pitch the right thing at the right time to the right person. You know what I mean? And get what you're done. But I could do it so much easier, because of reputation over those years. And that's the things that, entrepreneurs need to build. And you can build relationships with journalists as well as an entrepreneur. It just needs to be genuine relationships, because they know the fake stuff and they hate it. They hate it.
For sure. No, this is great information. I'm glad you're sharing that. So I told you briefly about a story that I had in my own personal situation before we went on air here about me publishing a book in 2018. And again, just looking for anything and everything. I was not for sure in the space that you just described of being right there almost. It was like a complete shift in industry and everything. So anyway, wrote this book, approached a publicist that was based out of California. They had all these media ties. Oh yeah, we can get you to magazines, a couple interviews, this and that. And as I stated to you, it was like a week before Christmas. And so a month of me working with this person, they came back later. It was like, oh, we didn't get as much response because it was holiday season, this and that. And then you said something to me that really shocked me. And so you stated that they should have been working on this 3-4 months out. So it even shouldn't be like just in that month. So kind of give us some more feedback on what is the amount of time? What should a person expect when they first engage with a publicist, as far as kind of the expectation of that relationship?
Ooh. So I hear those publicist horror stories a lot. And it's so unfortunate. And I'm one of the publicists who feel like, that we get a bad rap. And so I go above and beyond to show people like everybody is not like that. I think that there's a lot of confusion about what we do, because a lot of people do things in the marketing business realm that they just slap public relations on, which is why people think that we're event planners, or why people think that we're marketers, or why people think, what I mean? That's why the confusion is. So lots of people just decide that they're going to be a publicist. Just wake up, listen, today I'm a publicist. And there's nothing legally anybody can do about it, but you can't wake up and decide you're a lawyer or wake up and decide you're a doctor. So, sometimes you just wake up and decide you're something. And of course you can, decide you want to do something and get education, training, get a foundation for it and do it. But you can't just decide. And so I think that's what happens a lot. That people just decide that they're going to be a publicist because it looks kind of fun and they know some people. But when it really gets down to the nitty gritty, and when you have to expand yourself and you get like a really good client who needs something major and big, you don't know those people, those producers at the TV station,
Yep.
and do you have the nerve and the training, you know what I mean, and the demeanor to interact with them in a way that's appropriate, So you can only do that for so long, and get a client so far with that. So it's just unfortunate that happens. And so there's some other things that I'm trying to do to kind of help aspiring publicists, not fall into that trap or that bad reputation as well. But what I was telling you was that you were saying, about these people pitching you for like a holiday thing, like in December. And I'm like, that ship had sailed like 3-4 months ago. And so it depends on what the publication is. So for like a newspaper, you will want to pitch something 3 weeks to 6 weeks kind of in advance of when that's going to come. Newspapers are daily, but they need to get things written, approved, edited. Magazines, you definitely want to pitch 3 to 4 months out. Because when you're thinking about, I should have some holiday thing and Oprah's favorite things, I want my product in there. Listen, they're already working on the April issue.
Right. In December,
it.
Right. They working on the spring. Exactly.
Yeah. So radio, you usually can do some days to a week out, a week or more out if you want to be on like a radio show where you go into the studio or you call in. So it depends and varies on what you want to do, but just know like the bigger the publication, or the, if it's national, they're going to need more time. The best way, and so I talk about magazines a lot. That's like one of my my niches to help people get in magazines, is using a magazine's media kit. And so most national big magazines have a media kit, and inside the media kit, it's kind of like an annual report or just kind of like a breakdown of the business. And so it's usually a PDF, usually lots of photos and, kind of nice things, but it talks about who their demographic is. And I'm talking about specific percentage of men, percentage of women, down to the race, down to the age, down to the income, how many kids they have, how much they spend on stuff. I'm like, that is some serious, consumer breakdown information. Because if I feel like I want to be in Essence magazine, I can look at this media kit and see exactly who reads Essence and tailor my pitch and my messages or what I want to, be in there for based on who they say that their main people are. Like, who could say no to that? So the information in the pitch in the media kit is just so valuable just to read and learn about the mission, the vision, and the brand. So we think we know what Essence is and know about it, but have you been inside of their media kit and read about their different breakdowns, all their different events, all their different media platforms, all the different places that you could have a story pitch because they have online and print? Like, you have no idea until you've gone through like a media kit. You're like, wow, mind blown. But I live in a media kit. Like, I read them for entertainment. But the main part of a media kit that is so helpful is the editorial calendar.
Yeah.
The editorial calendar is 12 months of the year that tells you every single month what the magazine is going to be covering, those topics. It also tells you for advertising purposes, what the deadlines are to get in all your advertising materials. So we know that if the deadline to get your advertising materials in is this date, that's probably the very last date that you could slide in with a pitch also, right? Because they're kind of shutting it down. That's it. So you should know. So for instance, it's what, March, right? So say Forbes magazine is doing a roundup of, kind of like publicists. And I want to be in it. And it's going to come out in November. I can pitch right now and say, hey, my name is Taiisha Bradley. I see you doing this roundup on Publicist. Here's, my pitch, my story. Of course, it wouldn't be that. I would love for you to consider me for the November issue. it's March. But this editor is like, well, listen, I need 10 people for this story anyway. Here's one already. Sure. You know what I mean? And so I'm being very direct on what I'm pitching and when, based on what I'm seeing in these editorial calendars in these magazines. And they're free. You usually can just search like the name of the magazine, like Elle Magazine Media Kit 2021, and just search it. And you'll usually be able to just find it on Google. Find the link, click on it, look at the PDF, download it, print it, whatever you want to do with it. But I highly encourage people who want to be in magazines to use those editorial calendars in those media kits to target their pitch, because it's hard to get the magazine, to get into magazines. So you have to be like very thorough and direct, like undeniable, where they're like, man, this person is like, you just fell out of the sky. I'm like, that's what you think. Or they're like, man, I was just working on a story about. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Wow. So give us one more time where people can go to find the media kit. So if you're looking to be in a specific magazine, just Google that magazine media kit.
Yes. Or you can go to the website and look for like under the advertising link, and you make the media kit under advertising. It could be a variety of places. So you can either search the magazine's website or you can just Google it. Sometimes I just Google it, like GQ magazine media kit. And then I'll look through and, I'll see the link. And it's usually like gqmagazine.com/media kit. Sometimes it's just that for a website, but it varies. I'm actually working on putting together like a catalog of media kits on my website, so people could just come to my website to get the media kits, which will also bring me traffic from qualified leads, people who are already interested. So awesome. I'm thinking of housing them on my website instead of telling people Google it.
That's right. So tell us where we can find you. Where can people follow you on socials and things like that? We got your website, but where can they follow you on social?
Yeah, on social, I'm everywhere people are. And that's what I recommend also. I don't believe in I'm not going to that website because it's popular now, but it's going to fall off. Well, I'll be on it while it's popular and I'll just have to fall off, follow your people. So I'm not everywhere, but I'm on all your main things. So I am at Taiisha Bradley on, of course I'm on Facebook, but I'm at Taiisha Bradley, MA on Facebook, but everywhere else, I'm at Taiisha Bradley. On Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, what else? LinkedIn, some other stuff where I don't even quite know what it is. But people can find me and my website link from there.
Right. I just dropped your YouTube link in there because that's the place where I follow you the most. Is you have some excellent content on YouTube. But so if someone is subscribing to your YouTube channel right now because they're watching you here, what would it be the best place to start?
Probably in the Taiisha Talks listing, because I talk a lot. You'll learn a lot about me and my journey. So what I won't proclaim is that I'm this perfect publicity guru and everything is all shiny and ready to go. And like you'll see me. I do a lot of podcasts. You'll see me grow. Like start with the old one and just watch. You'll see me grow. You'll see me talk about things that never came to pass. And then you'll see some things that I talked about years ago where you were like, she did say that and she did it, So it really gives people a good idea of who I am. Because again, there's lots of people who do what I do. There's people who do it better, There's people who do it for free. But, people deal with me because they like me, who I am, how I roll, how I rock, the things that I talk about, because they relate to me. And I tell other people that in their businesses as well, which is a lot. It's not about being perfect, but it's about, being authentic. And when people hear authentic, and when I used to hear authentic, I'd be like, listen, I'm not one of those people who get up on live and be telling all my business and crying. Like, I'm not doing that.
I'm she. That's me.
That's not. Oh, that's you?
No, I'm not telling you nothing. Like,
oh, okay. Yeah, like
my social media.
I'm not one of those people. So I'm like, I don't think that I could ever be one of those people who are people, that people like, oh, I just feel like I know her, because I'm not that kind of authentic. But what I learned is like, that's not what being your authentic self is. Being your authentic self is being real about like who you are and where you are right now. You know what I mean? So it's not pretending, making excuses because you didn't get something done, or, you started on something and it didn't work out and it fell off. Just tell the people, because a lot of times they're struggling too. Or a lot of times people are relieved to find out that I'm not as perfect as they think. And then I'm like, why would you think that I was like perfect anyway? Like, I don't understand. Do you not see me struggling? But they don't. People don't see you struggling how you see yourself struggle. Or when you do like an interview and you don't think you did well, and the other people watch it and be like, looks fine to me. We're a lot hard on ourselves, which is a lot of times why people don't step out, really into that light. They think that they're not ready or they're not good enough. But listen, you looking good to everybody else. Come on out here. It's kind of it's like learning to swim and not getting in the pool. You can't. You just got to get in.
No, that's a good point. Is a lot of people just are afraid to just step out there, and what I've found now, especially in this more recent, last couple of years, people like to see those mistakes on the screen. They want to see your hair not perfectly laid out or whatever. It's like they really, especially if you're somebody that's delivering useful information, they kind of just focus on what you're saying. And, that's pretty cool that she did that video even when such and such wasn't perfect. You know what I mean? It's like, we don't have to be perfect in these situations. We can just be ourselves. But I'm totally like you, delivering certain stuff. I'm really not comfortable getting on social media just talking about all the pains and stuff that I want to tell you about, things I've overcome so that I can inspire you. But, sometimes when we going through it, let me get through it real quick so I can tell you how it's going to play out.
Authentic liquidity, you might not like that, right? Like you said, everybody has to be authentically themselves, and that's my authentic self. If you're in my inner circle, the people who need to know already know what my struggle, what that personal private struggle is, whatever it is, and they'd help me through that. Now, if it's something that I feel like will be a blessing to somebody, and I want to share that on a bigger platform, okay, I will, when it's appropriate. If it's not appropriate, then it's not appropriate and I won't share it. And I really like that you said that, because I think that a lot of people right now have that confused, like what authenticity is versus what it's not. And y'all, I'm gonna say this, but don't nobody cuss me, at least not out loud. You just found that out with that recent debacle. That's okay over social media.
Okay, and you know why?
Because I won't say who it is, but we all know who it is.
It's hard to be fake for a long time.
Come on now.
And people can appreciate the real you when you have a real you moment, when they know that exists. Otherwise, they have all these expectations for you, where if it was anybody else, it would have been fine, because everybody else just kind of, has been a thing. So I find that, especially when you're getting out being visible, it's so much better to just be who you are, because man, what you do in the dark does come to light. And when people find out that you're different than what you portray, it becomes problematic. Problematic, so even in business with clients,
Right. Well, I wanted to ask you about that, Taiisha. So we're talking about this authenticity, and obviously there's been an influx of people just taking their phone and they can film, and that's cool. But you dance in that major media world. What does authenticity look like for ABC or for CNN? Like, for you to be on that platform, doing your interview or the local news, what does that authenticity look like? Because I know they definitely are pristine and want you to be on camera perfectly, this and that, and they got somebody for it. But you as the person, should that be different? Is that authenticity different than what we're talking about?
That part is more about story authenticity, that the story that they're there to show you is an authentic story, true to you, your true feelings, the representatives, what actually happened, that kind of thing, because you're not going to be in control of the narrative so much, that way. Advertising, you could pay somebody to put up there what you said. PR, it doesn't necessarily work that way, so you can't always direct the conversation, but you do, you can direct that story. So it's super important that, when you are pitching pitching to the media, that you are pitching a story, and it's a true story, that you stand by, that you would tell, 1,000 times, that you want anyone to hear. If you're not sure about what you're sharing, or you're worried about kind of backlash or what people say, then publicity could be, somewhat problematic for you. Most of the time, if you are not like a huge major celebrity, or, part of some kind of national scandal, like somebody might say something here and there and then it's gone. Believe it or not, I was in an article recently of 21 women, and the topic was what Black women want from a Biden-Harris administration. Pretty fine, you know what I mean? Straightforward. I said a couple of things that, I would like to see done. Lots of beautiful women of color, all kinds of stature. Dope article. Probably one of the things I'm best proud of. I still got an email from an anonymous person with an anonymous YouTube channel that said I was a so-called Black woman.
Wow.
Because I had done that article. And I was like, well, listen, I showed my name and my face, but here you are with an anonymous YouTube channel, and you're just a voice and a black screen and a fake name. So I decided that I wasn't going to be worried about it, because, if you're that opinionated and you went through that much trouble to Google me and go to my website and fill out a contact us form to tell me that and to send me a link to your video, like, who has the upper hand here?
Come on.
Are you a fan much? So
you have nothing better to do with your time than to stalk me anonymously. Thank you for the boost in my SEO.
Right. But in the meantime, since that link has come out, like, I've had to bring on help because people have, I've gotten so many leads from that article.
Very nice.
So, you kind of put yourself out there, but, what I said, and I meant, and I would argue him down. And so I had no regret, about it. I was honored to have that platform to say how I felt, you know what I mean? And so when you are doing media like that, like, you really got to feel what you're doing with your chest, because somebody might come for you for it or try for you for it. But if you're passionate about it and you know that you're saying what you're saying or doing what you're doing for the greater good of someone else or something that you're trying to do, let it out.
So it sounds like for your clients and really anybody that's wanting to step into working with a publicist, you need to be sure what you present, and I love that you said earlier on, these people need to already be established in business somewhat, maybe 2 to 5 years. You're already generating revenue where you can afford to pay for this additional luxury service. But you need to be solid about what you present to the world, because it's getting ready to get thrown out there times 10,000 once you bring a publicist into your fold to help you get it out there. So be sure you're confident in that part. So a couple quick questions for you. How can people reach out to you, or what? That's not really a question I want. What does a session look like with you if somebody hires you? And kind of what's the initial kind of process look like when they start engaging with you?
Right. Awesome. Thanks for asking. So I just want to be clear that you don't have to be perfect to get ready to be working with a publicist. You don't have to be making a ton of money. You just you're just not starting out trying to feel your way along. You know what I mean? Like, you'll get dragged along if you aren't sure about like who you are and what you're doing and what your goal is already. Like, it'll be too much for you, because I'll be rapid firing you questions that you just absolutely have to know anyway. And if you don't, I'm like, wait, what do you want me to do? If you don't know, if you can't explain what you do, how am I explaining this to CNN? Help me help you. And so there's 2 ways that I work with people who are ready, kind of ready to go. I work with like public figures, political figures, best-selling authors, celebrities, TV personalities, musicians. When I work with people like that, they have like a platform, they have a background, they've done things, you know what I mean? And it's just kind of moving the needle or moving them in another direction. So people like that, they tend to hire me as their publicist, just get in there, do the work. So it's not that they hire me, pay me, and they send me on my way. It's a lot of communication back and forth. Like, you got to help me help you. If I get a hot little hit, I need to hit you, and you need to say yes or no real fast. You know what I mean? So we have to connect, and I have to always be on the dime for you. When Swagger Magazine, hits me up on email at 2 a.m. Like, I'm like, yes, thank you for your response. Like, I'm on it all the time. So, that's kind of how it works, and why you have a publicist on a retainer when they're doing work for you, because they are almost always kind of on the clock, always on the clock, which is why it's not super inexpensive. You have to have somebody already always on ready for you. And so that's one way that I work with clients. And when I work with like entrepreneurs, that starts at about $1,500 per month for like an entry kind of package into working. And it comes with a limited array of services. What I do is I let my clients choose which areas they want me to focus in. So whether, if you're an author, magazines and newspapers are going to be, something that we really want to focus on, because that kind of sells your books. If you want to be a speaker or you want your own show, then, TV things and video podcasts, those are things that we kind of want to focus on. And then I work with people with a minimum of 90 day retainers. And it's because the media cycle is 90 days. I could pitch something at day 190 and then not come through until day 90. But if you've left me at day 60 or day 75, when day 90 comes, in this Dream magazine, old magazine hits me back and they're like, yeah, what's up with Laquita? I'm like, Laquita who? Laquita who? Who?
Got you.
I'm sorry.
Her retainer expired.
Yeah.
She's not here.
No,
but I do have Victor over here on the ready. Like, what's popping?
Hey,
so I make people give me at least 90 days to work it out, because a lot of times I'm at the mercy of somebody else. I'm trying to smooth this relationship here. I'm not trying to hit them up too much, but I'm trying to stay on them. It's a balance dealing with like producers, people who work fast. Like, those people are snappy. Like, sometimes I get my feelings busted open from like a reporter or a journalist. They're like, girl, please, goodbye. I'm like, and it resets, but I have to
you built for that.
Nerves.
You're ready. You're already ready for that. So the second part of the question that I have for you, you kind of mentioned, I heard some responses to it in there, which is the show is called Create Your Future Self Live. So how is Taiisha Bradley creating her future self? What does your future self look like 5 years from now?
Yeah. Well, that brings me to the second part, what I was going to say, because it does bring me to my future self, is that, I understand that everyone is not ready for a publicist. They're not ready to just hire me and throw me the money and just kind of going. Everybody is not there. Most of the people that I come across are not there. Most of the people that I love the most and that I want to help the most are not there. Yeah. But I'm not going to leave my people by the wayside. And so I help people in like a publicity share program, like you have a nanny share, a couple people share a nanny, and you split the cost and you split the hours. So I've been doing that with entrepreneurs to where, okay, I know that you guys can't not necessarily put this together to this retainer, but if there's enough people we can, kind of link up and get me paid, like I can deliver these things and, be able to get help. And so ultimately that is what my main purpose in my publicity and goal is. I felt for a long time that I didn't know my purpose. As I was working in this career for 20 years, I loved it and I hated it at the same time. I love what I was doing, but I hated people telling me what to do and directing me. And I didn't like that. I just was like, listen, let me do my thing. And what I didn't realize it was that because it was my purpose, that I needed to be loose from the other things, so they weren't letting me operate in my purpose. I was using my gifts, but not in a way that God wanted me to. And so when I finally figured out that I had been living in my purpose all along, just not serving the people, the right people. I wasn't serving the right people. So, you had to let kind of go of some things, financial things or whatever. But I stepped out on faith and left a job to, kind of serve people. And that is my purpose. And that's what I, see myself as my future self as, figuring it all out finally, because we know online business is hard. Like, please don't get me started on the funnel and Facebook ads and all that crap. It's so overwhelming. But I always have to be like, listen, before they was funnels and Facebook ads, God was sending people, they was serving their purposes and they was finding their people. So don't get wrapped up in that. But ultimately, I would like to be a huge voice for people who are in entrepreneurship, to not give up and, how to let their light shine, how to get access to, huge tools and resources that we wouldn't normally get access to. I want to see millions more people of color, represented in magazines and on TV and, kind of everywhere. Because being, work so closely in the media, I see and notice all of the racial disparities, and I'm the main one who will call down somewhere and go off because their brochure don't have not nary black person on it. And they didn't even notice, but they didn't even notice. You know what I mean? I've always been that person. And so I just want to do that, times 10 and serve in my purpose, help other people, get their media and their visibility, because it brings, that audience brings those opportunities, and that opportunities brings money to people, and I want to be doing well and living my best life. And I want all my famous friends around me to be well and living their best lives. So that's where I see myself, I'm helping people, kind of get to that other side and getting myself there in the meantime.
That's awesome. I have never heard, you call it a publicity share.
Yes, because I made it up. So, when you're an entrepreneur, right, and you're like trying to research something and see what other people did or what other people are doing and try to figure it out, and you can't ever find anything like it because it doesn't exist. And that was the thing. I just never saw anything that wasn't like an agency, which are super expensive. So you pay the hundreds of thousands of dollars or the tens of thousands of dollars, and you get like a junior publicist intern kind of thing. I've seen that, but I haven't seen it where one person has like an actual independent publicist who kind of helps everybody, and everybody just kind of puts, pays in on it, so that I'm helping everybody where they are, right? Because you don't need me full time, so why pay me full time? So I can help everybody, but I can still be making the kind of income that I need to run my business and to run my house and feel good about what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Because if your money isn't right, it doesn't matter if you're serving people and they're doing great. If your money isn't right, it doesn't feel good. And so I'm like, listen, when I get paid my worth, like I show out, I go in.
That's right. So and we should all be serving from overflow anyway. You got to serve from what's extra in your life. You can't take from what you need to survive in your own. So I love that concept, definitely creative. And again, we want to encourage people to visit you on your website, on your socials, but definitely Taiisha with 2 eyes, TaiishaBradley.com. That's right. This has been awesome. I've learned so much. I got like a bunch of notes right here. It's crazy. This is good stuff. This is absolutely awesome. Good. And I'm so glad that you came on today.
I encourage people to try the How to Hero class.
Yeah.
Try that class. It's just $27. But people have been like, listen, it needs to be more than that. I'm like, how are my people telling me that I need to be charging more? I'm like, I want it to be enough to where, you know what I'm saying, it's worth my time, you know what I mean? I can do something with that. That's a little gas money here and there,
There you go. There you go.
Go ahead and get that class. I can take my babies to McDonald's, because I'm a real person. Like every dime, goes back into my business. But mostly I want people to get in there and like see what it is and be like, oh, I can do this. And because when you start to get those wins from Hero, man, like your chest gets, you know what I mean? The confidence it gives people. And that's the mind space that you need to be in to, you know what I mean, really take this journey. So I want to give people like these quick, dope wins, and Hero is definitely the way to do that.
is to do that. Awesome.
Yep.
Get on that How to Hero class.
Yes.
And to our website, www.TaiishaBradley.com. It's real easy to navigate the site. You'll see right across the top, click on training, and the How to Hero will drop down.
It's right there.
It's right there. It's right there.
Yeah.
Miss Taiisha, you have blessed our cotton socks, as the British would say.
Oh, I like that.
You have blessed us today with some amazing value. All I can say is thank you. Like the things that I've learned from some of your YouTube, the jewels that you dropped today, absolutely amazing, guys. We'll be putting this up on the replay on tomorrow. Hit those like and share buttons. If this is your first time joining us on YouTube, thank you so much. Hit that subscribe button. We come to you every Monday at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time with guests that drop amazing value to you. So don't miss next Monday. We have another guest coming on, and we'll be right back at you at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time on next Monday. Until next time, guys, be blessed. Take care.
Bye.